The afternoon sun cast long shadows across downtown as Sophie Blake pedaled her secondhand bicycle through the city streets, her canvas bag full of delivery orders bouncing against her back. At 26, she worked 3 jobs: morning barista, an intersection when it happened. A pedestrian stepped off the curb without looking. Sophie swerved, brake squealing, but her front tire clipped his leg. The bike wobbled and Sophie went down hard on the pavement, her delivery bag spilling containers across the street. "Oh my God. Are you okay?" The man dressed in an expensive suit immediately knelt beside her despite the fact that she had hit him. Sophie's palms were scraped and bleeding, her jeans torn at the knee. "I am so sorry. I was not looking, I was checking my phone, and I should have been watching." She scrambled to gather the spilled food, her eyes filling with tears as she realized the containers were damaged. "These deliveries are ruined. I am going to have to pay for them out of my tips." "Stop," the man said gently but firmly. "You are bleeding. The food does not matter right now." "Matters to me," Sophie said, her voice breaking. "I cannot afford out without looking. This is my fault, not yours. Give me the app." Something about his calm authority made Sophie hand over her phone. The man who introduced himself as Marcus pulled out his own phone and made several calls. Within minutes, he had contacted each customer, explained there had been an accident, arranged for replacement orders at his expense, and added generous compensation. "There," Marcus said, handing back her phone. "Handled. Now, let's get your hands cleaned up." Sophie stared at him. "Who are you?" "Someone who caused an accident and is trying to make it right." Marcus gestured to a cafe across the street. "Come on, let me at least buy you coffee and bandages." At the cafe, Marcus insisted Sophie let the staff clean and bandage her scraped palms while he ordered coffee and pastries she definitely had not agreed to. "I should get back to work," Sophie protested weakly, though her hands hurt and she was shaking from the adrenaline crash. "Your next delivery is not for 40 minutes according to your app," Marcus said, setting down coffee and a croissant in front of her. "Take a break. You earned it by not running me over more seriously." Despite herself, Sophie smiled. "I really am sorry about that. I am sorry for stepping into traffic while on my phone. We both learned a lesson today." Marcus sat across from her. "Tell me something. Why are you doing food delivery on a bicycle in downtown traffic?" "That seems dangerous. Because my car died 3 months ago and I cannot afford to fix it. Bike delivery pays better than walking, and I need every dollar." Sophie paused. "Why do you care?" Marcus considered his answer carefully. "Because I just watched you cry over $40 in ruined food, and I spend more than that on a single lunch without thinking about it. That perspective check is worth a conversation." They talked for an hour. Sophie told him about working 3 jobs, about sending money home to her mother who was recovering from a stroke, about having a college degree in social work, but not being able to afford to work in the field because nonprofit salaries did not cover survival in the city. Marcus listened without judgment, asking thoughtful questions, genuinely interested in her life. He told her he worked in finance, deliberately vague about details, and that he had been on his way to a meeting when she hit him. "Did I make you late?" Sophie asked, suddenly worried. "Probably. I do not care," Marcus smiled. "This has been the most interesting conversation I have had in months. Most people I meet want something from me. You just want to pay for ruined deliveries and get back to work." It is refreshing. When Sophie finally stood to leave, Marcus pulled out a business card. "I know this is going to sound strange, but I run a foundation that provides grants to social workers who want to work in underserved communities. You should apply." Sophie looked at the card. "Marcus Hamilton, Hamilton Foundation." Her eyes widened. "You are Marcus Hamilton, the billionaire philanthropist?" "I prefer a guy who got hit by a bike today," Marcus said with a slight smile. "But yes, and I am serious about the grant. You clearly have passion for helping others. You should not have to deliver food on a bicycle to survive while doing it." Over the following weeks, Sophie applied to the grant program, certain nothing would come of it. She was shocked when she received an acceptance letter, a full grant covering living expenses while she worked at a nonprofit of her choice for 2 years. "This is too much," Sophie told Marcus when she called to thank him. "I cannot accept this. You are doing this because you feel guilty about the accident. I am doing this because you are exactly the kind of person this grant was designed for," Marcus said. "Someone with skills and passion who is being prevented from using them by financial constraints. Take it. Help people. That is what the money is for." Sophie took the grant and started working at a homeless services organization. She was good at it, making real differences in people's lives, finally using her education and skills for their intended purpose. Marcus checked in occasionally, ostensibly to monitor the grant's impact, but their conversations always extended beyond professional topics. They discovered shared interests, similar values, and an easy rapport that felt natural despite their vastly different backgrounds. "I need to be honest about something," Marcus said 6 months after their first meeting, over coffee at the same cafe where they had talked after the accident. "I have been looking forward to these check-ins more than any other meetings on my calendar, and it is not because I care about grant metrics." Sophie felt her heart race. "Marcus, I know this is complicated. I am technically your grant provider. You could feel pressured, but I needed to be honest." He looked at her seriously. "I am not asking you to date me. I am asking if, when the grant period ends, you might consider having dinner with me, as equals, not as philanthropist and recipient." Sophie smiled. "The grant period ends in 18 months. I am aware. I am a patient man. What if I said I do not want to wait 18 months? Sophie asked. "What if I said that the man I met 6 months ago, the one who took responsibility for an accident that was partly my fault, who listened to my problems without condescension, who has treated me with respect and kindness, what if I said I am interested in getting to know that man better, grant or no grant?" Marcus looked at her with something like hope. "Then I would ask what you are doing for dinner tonight." They built their relationship carefully, conscious of the power dynamics, always maintaining transparency about the grant and their personal connection. Sophie insisted on formal oversight to ensure the grant continued based on merit, not favoritism. Marcus agreed, respecting her need for independence. 18 months later, when the grant period officially ended, Sophie had established herself as a rising leader in social services. She had earned her success independently, though Marcus's initial support had made it possible. "You changed my life," Sophie told Marcus at dinner celebrating the grant's completion. "That bike accident was the best thing that ever happened to me." "You changed mine," Marcus countered. "I was so isolated in my wealth that I had forgotten what real struggle looked like. You reminded me why my money mattered, not for luxury, but for creating opportunities for people who deserve them." 1 year later, Marcus proposed not with an elaborate gesture, but on the street corner where they had first met, with Sophie's old bicycle propped nearby as a reminder. "I hit you with my bike, spilled food everywhere, and cried about $40, Sophie said, laughing through tears. "That was your romantic meet cute. You showed me authenticity in a world full of performance. You worked 3 jobs but still sent money to your mother. You had every reason to be bitter about your circumstances, but instead wanted to help others. You reminded me what character looks like." Marcus held out the ring. "Sophie, will you marry me? Will you let me spend my life supporting your work the way you supported my rediscovery of purpose?" "Yes," Sophie said, "but only if you promise to never forget that day. Promise me we will never become people so comfortable that we forget what struggle looks like. Promise me we will use what we have to help others the way you helped me." "I promise," Marcus said. "How could I forget? The best thing that ever happened to me was getting hit by a bicycle." At their wedding, Sophie's toast made everyone laugh. "I literally ran over my husband with a bicycle on our first meeting. Most relationships do not survive that. Ours started there. That taught me something important. The best relationships begin with honesty, even when it is messy." Marcus could have been angry. Instead, he took responsibility. "I could have hidden my financial struggles. Instead, I told the truth. We built everything on that foundation." If this story reminded you that honesty and character matter more than circumstances, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment about when an unexpected meeting changed your path.